Story time. Yes. Every time I do a story time, I already cried about it. Okay. So listen. I'm trying to figure out how to do it without like crying again. But okay. So this morning I was in my car and I started crying. On my way to work, driving, I started crying. And I'm like, here we go again. Right? And trigger warning, this is a grief story. So if you ain't trying to cry, swipe. Okay? So I'm in my car and I'm crying. But this time it's a very specific cry. So I'm crying and I'm telling God, I'm like, bro, I cannot do this clothing line without my mother. Like, I can't. I know we talked about this. I know you want me to do this, but I'm drowning without her. Like, I cannot do this clothing line without my mother. So at this point, as I'm praying to God, I'm boo-hooing, right? So a lot of the times when God wants to send a message to us, he will send other people to deliver the message, right? So we're going to backtrack now. My ex's mother, we would always laugh and be like, yo, because I call her mommy, right? We would always laugh and be like, yo, mommy is hood. Like, mommy is hood. She'll answer the phone and be like, not my mom, like his mother, right? She'll answer the phone and be like, or she'll say things like that. Like, we would laugh about it. But then, like, and she always loved me, regardless, no matter what. So, wait, hold on. So when my mom passed away, um, there was a certain softness that came out of my ex's mom when it came to me, right? She was always soft with me, always loved me, but there's a different type of softness that came out of her when my mom passed away. So, oh my God, do not cry. But anyway, like, she would always tell me, like, I know what it's like to not have your mom around. And on top of that, like, you're literally in Florida by yourself. People don't understand what it's like to, like, be alone and have nobody. But I understand it and I get it. So I know what you're going through. I feel what you're going through because I know what it's like to be alone and have no one. And I was like, okay. So anyway, over time, um, she would check up on me, or I would text her and I'd be like, hey mommy. And there are times, I don't know how she would know, but there were times when I would text her and I'd be like, hey mommy. um, she would just call me and be like, hey, are you okay? You all right? What are you doing? And I guess, like, she can feel and know that I needed, like, a mom figure at that time. So anyway, um, a little bit before Thanksgiving, I go see her and she's like, what's going on with your clothing line? And I'm like, I can't do it. Mommy's dead. And she's like, what's going on with your clothing line? And I'm like, I don't think I can do it. And she's like, yes, you can. And I said, but mommy, my mother is dead. And she's like, I know. But just because she's dead does not mean that she's not with you. Try not to cry. So, um, whew, try not to cry. Anyway, we hug because I bought her like a bouquet of flowers. So I gave her the flowers. We hug, all these things, right? Oh my God, hold on. Okay, I'm trying not to tear up. All right. So, um, over time, me and my ex's mom, we're still like meeting up here and there. Every time we meet up, I kid you not, I swear to God, she's like, what's going on with your clothing line? I'm like, oh my God. And she's like, what's going on with your clothing line? I'm like, I'm gonna try. And she's like, okay. Another time she asked me again and I said, okay, well, mommy, this time I did a pop-up shop. It went really well. And she's like, good. Um, one more time we saw each other And then she's like, clothing line? I'm like, but it it wasn't it wasn't coming to me that she, you know how like a lot of the times we'll sit here and be like, I don't know how God talks to me. I don't know when to listen if God is talking to me about something. Or let me give you an example of how God works with me, right? If I don't see it in a dream, he's going to send other people around me to ask me the same question over and over and over again. And it will never be the same person. It'll be different people. And it will be the same question over and over again. That's two circumstances with me. For other people, like with my friend, with her, she will see things on TV and it'll point to what she's supposed to do. So this is how you know when God is talking to you. The same thing will keep coming back up. So let's say if you're supposed to become a cop, you'll see, I don't know, like an ex-friend that was a cop, and then all of a sudden you haven't seen that friend in years, all of a sudden you see that friend. Or you'll be watching television and a cop is freaking arresting somebody on the television and you just randomly smile. Or but you don't know where that smile came from, you just start smiling. Or you get like a random email saying that there's open house for cop jobs, something. You be like, bro, I never even signed up for this. Or you'll see, like, it just depends on the situation. That's how you'll always know what God wants you to do. Or you'll see freaking, I don't know, depending on the subject, whatever you're confused about, God answers the question. It's just that you're not paying attention to it, or you're not picking up on what he's trying to tell you. So he has to send repetitive reminders about what you're supposed to be doing. That's how God is talking to you. Or let's say you're a guy and you're dating a girl, but you don't know if that's supposed to be your wife, right? And you suck at prayer. You suck at it, right? And God will send different people to tell you the same thing. Or he'll send different people to ask you about that girl. How's I'm trying to think of a name. How's Jessica doing? And you're like, or you're watching a movie and in the movie, Jessica's name pops up in the movie. Or you're at work and you freaking have a patient. The patient's name is Jessica. Or you're busy, you're running around and your manager's like, hey, the phone's ringing, pick up that phone for me real quick, and then find out who it is and then transfer it to me. You're like, I bet. You pick up the phone and then the person's like, hey, can I speak to so-and-so? And you're like, okay, well, who's asking? Who's calling so I can tell my manager, da-da-da. And the person's like, oh, my name is Jessica. Like, little things like that will tell you, like, all right, I need to pay attention to this thing or this person, that this is who I'm supposed to marry, this is what I'm supposed to do, da-da-da-da-da. Hold on. So back to my ex's mom. So, we never saw her as a spiritual type at all, right? We always used to laugh. I'm going back to that. So the fact that she kept saying, how's the clothing line? I'm like, right? And then today, I randomly start crying about my clothing line. I'm like, God, I can't. My mother's dead. God, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm bawling, crying, driving at the wheel in the freaking highway. I'm bawling, crying. I'm wiping. Then we hit traffic, which means I have to stop, right? So we're in traffic like an hour and a half on my way to work. I'm like, oh my God. Lucky I left the house early this morning. Caught. So it's like a 4-lane highway. I'm in the middle lane, and then there's 2 cars on both sides of me. As I'm crying and I'm telling God I can't do it, my mom is dead. I can't do it. I look up and there's a bird flying, right? Stay tuned for part 2.